6th graders. Lesson 4.2 is about equal fractions. Well, what does an equal fraction mean? What is equal about fractions? If there are two fractions that are equal, what is equal about them? Cool?
Like, they're both, like, the same, but it's just, like, they're a higher number, maybe?
The
Like-
same what?
Like,
That's
the
what we're saying.
same, hold on,
It says on the board.
same, like, fraction? Like, the equal amount?
Equal amounts, exactly, yes. Equal fractions mean equal amounts. Okay? So, look at this fraction. 1/4, right? This is 1/4. Is that equal to 1/2?
No.
Why not? There's still one piece. The 1 is equal. What's the difference between 1/4 and 1/2? They're both 1, right? They're both one piece.
Is that 1/4 is less than half?
Well, yes, 1/4 is less than a half. How do you know? If they both have one piece, are those equal amounts? Sorry,
They're not equal.
but the 1 is equal.
Like, yeah, it's 1/2. It would have to be 2 instead of 1 because I don't know how to explain it.
Yep. So what is different about these?
Like you have to divide it by 2 on the top and the bottom. So it
Okay.
gets to the least amount.
Correct.
You can't divide divide 1.
Okay. So what is different about these? Just look at the big picture here. What is the difference between 1/2 and 1/4? Why aren't they equal if they both are one piece? Max.
Because the 1/2 is only a half, but 1/4 is only a fourth of the actual number, and a half is more than that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. What's the difference between a half and a fourth? What is different about them?
Their numbers.
The numbers are different. What else?
A fourth is half of a half.
A fourth is half of a half, okay? So if we were to draw out a half, it would look like this, right? So this is a half, and this is a fourth. What's the difference between these? They're both one piece. What's different about them? Zoe?
The 1/2 is kind of bigger because on the 1/4 there's only one piece colored, and on the 1/2 half of it is colored.
Half of it is colored, and so the size of the pieces are different, right? They both are one piece, but the size of the pieces are different, right? If the size of the pieces are different, then one of each cannot be the same amount, right? You understand? Okay. So I want you to understand what 1/4 really is. Not just the number 1/4, but remember that's 1 out of 4 pieces versus 1 out of 2 pieces. These pieces have to be bigger than these. Focus here. These pieces have to be bigger because there's only 2 of them out of the whole versus 4 of them out of the whole. Right? Now, in order to get an equal fraction, somebody said we have to multiply or divide both the numerator and the denominator by the same number, right? If we're looking for an equal fraction, an equal amount, if we have 2/4, What can we divide by to get an equal fraction? What number goes into both 2 and 4?
Ooh.
What number goes into both 2 and 4? Emily? 2. So what would we divide by? 2. Divide both numbers by 2, and we can get an equal fraction, right? Now, this fraction happens to be the lowest or the simplest form of this fraction of 2/4. Anytime you get a fraction and one number, if number is a 1, then there are no other factors of both numbers. There's nothing else that goes into 1 and 2 other than 1. Right? So it's called simplest form. But that's not the only equivalent fraction we can make. Right? We can make any equivalent fraction we want just by multiplying or dividing by a different number. What's another equal fraction of 2/4 then? What if we took 2/4 and 1/2? So here's an equivalent fraction. 2/4 equals 1/2, right?
Yeah.
The equal amounts. What if we cut them both in half? How many pieces would we have? So if we cut this in half, and we cut this in half, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Could we get 8s? Could we get this into 8s?
Yes.
How?
By multiplying it.
By
2.
By 2. By cutting them in half, we're multiplying the number of pieces by 2. So, 4/8 is an equivalent amount, isn't it? Yep. And we can make as many equal amounts as we want to. As many equal fractions as we want to. Right? Let's go back to talking about lowest terms. When you have lowest terms, or simplest form, you need to write this down in your notes at the bottom. You know you have lowest terms when there are no more common factors.
Can you put simplest form?
You can put simplest form or lowest terms. But make sure that you understand that lowest terms and simplest form mean the same thing. Okay? You'll know you have lowest terms when there are no more common factors. So if you have two even numbers, do you have simplest form? Do you have the terms, the lowest terms? No, because they can both be divided by 2. So one of them is probably going to be an odd number. Right? If you have lowest terms. Then, the top number is not a factor of the bottom number. In other words, the top number does not go into the bottom number. Let me put some different examples up there.
What's that last word?
It's 1. It's 5.
Now, look at this number. Look at this fraction. Is 11 a prime number?
Yes.
Yeah, so there's no other factors that go into 11, right?
Nope.
Nope. But does the top number go into the bottom number? Yeah. 33 is divisible by 11. So then we have to use that as a factor and reduce it to 1/3. Okay? 1/3. How about this? What can we divide by? 8?
Yes.
Let's divide by 8. Divided by 8. Because 8 goes into both 48 and 64, right? How many times does 8 go into 48?
6.
6 times. How many times does 8 go into 64? 8 times. Good. Are we in the simplest form then? No. Why not?
For both of us,
Because they're both even. And if they're both even, then we have to divide it by
Oh, it's keep going.
2. 3/4, right? So sometimes you'll have to find another factor that goes into it. Find another number. Okay? Any questions on that? How do we know that 3/4 is simplest form? Look at the two qualifications. Carson? Right? There's nothing that goes in to both 3 and 4. Yep, and the top number does not go into the bottom number. 3 does not go into 4 evenly.
Oh,
Yes?
or if it's 1/2, that's the lowest number.
Yeah, anytime there's a 1 on the numerator, we know it's lowest terms. If this is a 1, then we know we have lowest terms. But it won't always be 1. Okay? How about this one? Is that lowest terms? No?
yeah. It is, because 17 is
Yes,
fine.
it is.
You sure? Raise your hand if you're sure that it's lowest terms. Oh, come on, be confident. Yeah, away. We got 4, 5, 6.
That wasn't one.
Look at the qualifications. What are the factors of 17?
1 and 17.
1 and 17, right?
Yeah.
Does 17 go into 95?
Probably not.
Probably
It
not.
does not.
Let's check. 17 into 95. 17 into 95. What's the only thing it could go, maybe 9 times? No. 5 times?
No.
7 times? What do you think? Let's try 5. What's 5 times 17? 5 times 7 is 35. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 is 85. Nope. It's not 5. 6 times 7 is 42. That ends in a 2, so that doesn't work. 7 times 7 is 49. That doesn't work. Is this lowest terms?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Lowest term, simplest form. Or LP, the lowest terms. Okay? So you can check big numbers just by remembering the rules that we worked on last chapter of what goes into what. Remember the prime numbers we talked about. Okay, how do you figure out if 3 is a factor?
You add like the sum of the digits.
Yeah, add the digits. Does 3 go into 17? Why not?
That's
Because it's prime. How about 95? Does 3 go into 95?
yes, yes
what's-
it does.
What's 9 plus 5?
No, that's
What's 9 plus 5?
14.
14. Does 3 go into 14? No. So use those rules that we talked about to help you when you're finding factors, okay?